Hi there, it's Marianne Tansley from Thrive Admin Services, and in this video I'm showing you how you can use the track changes functions inside Microsoft Word to be able to show another person looking at the document the edits you've made. That's insertions, deletions, formatting, comments that you're adding, so that they can see the original document and then the edits and manually approve or reject each one. Likewise, a client can make edits or a team member can make edits in a document for you, and then you can manually review them and make sure that you're happy with everything before it's integrated and you've lost any essence or intention of the original document. In this one, we're working in Microsoft Word. In the video, I'm working in the desktop version on a Mac. If you are working on the PC or on the web, then some of your buttons will be different, but you definitely have the ability to track changes in your documents. It's a really handy tool, and I hope that you learn something really useful. So let's get started. Alrighty, so to start with, we're working in Word, and for this video, I'm working in a desktop version of Microsoft Word using 365 Business, and I'm working on a Mac desktop. So some of my window buttons may look a little bit different, but the functionality we're talking about today is your track changes and commenting. And this is a really handy tool, like I said, in terms of being able to get feedback, ask questions, check sort of particular things that you might want some more clarification on when you're working in a document that has lots of hands in it. So the first thing we need to understand is, how do you add your track changes? So we go to the Review tab up in our ribbon. And from here, there's this section in the middle here, which is about our tracked changes. So what you can see is that if I put it on, I can put it on for everybody. So anyone who sees this document will see all the track changes, and any changes they make will be recorded as tracked, or just me. So I'm going to make it for everybody. In this instance, it's not going to matter because it is just me, but you might be working with a team or with subcontractors or with clients that you're going to send it to. And then we have some options in terms of how we see the markup. So this is the display for review, and you can see it as all markup, no markup, simple or original. So original is just going to be, this is what we had. No markup is never going to show any changes. All will show everything, which includes your comments and your actual edits to the text. And then simple will just show you it'll give you a little bead mark to show you where you're at. So, and then the markup options here, ink, insertions, formatting, the balloons, we can see them in line, show all of the revisions in the balloons. So that would mean it would explain all of your formatting changes, only formatting or all revisions in line. And I'm going to leave it at in line, which means that it'll do it in the actual text. All reviewers, and then for me, this is where I can see what it will look like. So any new insertions would be underlined, and they'll be coloured by author. Deletions will have a strike through, so the text will still sit there, but it'll have a line through it so I can see that's been removed. Changed lines have an outside border on them, so that is like a marker for me. When we're moving things, it'll show me where it's been moved from by putting a double line in green, and then where it's been moved to by doing a double underline. And then table cells, if we insert anything, it'll go in a light blue. If we merge things, they'll go light yellow. If we delete things, then they'll go pink. And if we split them, they'll go light orange. And the balloon sizes. Okay, so if you are working on a different version of Word, you may have some different options here. From my drop downs, I can choose different things. I tend to keep this all very standard. I don't like to play with this too much because Word knows, well, let's not get carried away, but Word kind of knows what it's doing with this. And if I start to mess around with it too much, I'll get confused about what things mean as well. So I've put some standard text into a document here. I'm going to zoom it in a bit so it's a little bit clearer. Sorry, I've got the hiccups. So I've got some filler text, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make some changes to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, and you can see now where I'm putting, this is that indent showing that I'm putting lines in. Okay, So if I change this now to all markup, you'll see it's using those rules. So all markup shows everything. Simple markup just shows the line and says, hey, there's something going on here. No markup is nothing, and the original takes it back. So if I go back to all markup, and I'm going to change this one now to the balloons, show revisions in balloons. Track changes. So if I just change it to mine, no one else will see them. So let's do that. And if we go show comments, it's going to show them as I can show them as a list. And I can put comments in here, or I can show them contextually. This one, and now if I turn this bold, you can see it's putting that bubble in. If I go Control A and I make all of this all revisions in line, you can see it's got this line here, and then I can move from change to change, and it's going to show me what's done, and I need to accept or reject it. So tracking your changes, if I've done this now, I'm going to change this one to all markup, and I'm going to change this one back to track changes for everyone. So if I'm saving this document down now and someone else opens it up, they will see that I've made these edits. Then if we go back for another round, so I'm going to save this just to my desktop for now. Desktop, and we'll just save it as document 1. I'm going to close it. I'm going to quit Word. And it's opened, of course, on my other screen. So bear with me. Saved it onto, of course it did. It's just going to open up, I'll bring it across. Okay, so reviewing, suggest changes and add comments. And then if we look at the comments here, there are currently no comments. If I go back to my review tab and I go next change, it's showing me it here. If I put the review, if I put this review one on, you can see what I've done. So this little review panel gives me a new window here, and there are 2 revisions. There was 1 insertion and 1 formatting. So I added 2 hard returns or enters, and then I typed this text. And then this one, if I click here, it's showing you that I then formatted some font in bold. If I now go in again and I'm going to make this, I'm going to delete, and you can see now it's popping up here showing that I deleted it. It's put it in red and it's still there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more filler text. And then we're going to pop these in. So I formatted it. I'm now going to make this text, which is a new insertion anyway. I'm now going to format it so you can still work in this the same way we would normally. So I'm going to make it bold. I'm going to make it a bigger size, and I'm going to make it this color. So you can see it's saying here, it's showing you exactly how I've done it here. So now what we can do is the next stage is that we can then accept or reject those edits. So if a client made a bunch of edits into a document, or if I've made a series of edits, sent it to the client and they've come back to me with feedback, then I can go in and check those edits. So we go back to the review tab, and then we're dealing with this next section here. So I can go to the next change and it's going to highlight it for me, and I can accept it, which means that it will integrate it into the document and remove all of the formatting marks. I can accept just this change and stop. I can accept it and move on to the next thing. I can accept all changes in the document and then stop it from tracking anything else. So I can accept everything, assuming I've already looked at it and I'm happy with everything, or I can accept everything and then turn off the tracking so that any additional edits now won't be tracked. So let's do it as accept and move to next. And you'll see what it's done is it's removed it from here. So it's no longer showing here because it's been integrated and accepted and now forms part of the main document. It's no longer requiring approval or rejection. I might look at this one and say, I don't want this. I want it to be normal text, so I can reject it. And again, I can do this just like this, and it's removed it from my revision list and it's integrated into the main document. I can now move to the next change, and I might decide to accept this change and move to the next. Again, it's removing things. Now this one will include the font, the font size and color, the formatting, and the text itself, which has been added. So if I was to accept this, it's allowing all of those, and then you can see it's got the formatting as a separate one here, so I'll accept that as well. And now everything is integrated, and if I was to make new changes, I will now restart this list of revisions in the document. So that is how you can work around and be able to see the different content that people have done. If you're working with multiple users on a document, it will have different names as to who's made those edits, and the colors of the edits will be different per user. So you see mine were red, someone else's may be purple, another person's may be blue, and it will choose different colors as a new user makes edits while that document is being changed. So I hope that has helped you understand a little bit more about how you can track edits and amendments to documents when you have, whether it's just you and a client, you and a team member, or you've got a wider group working in a document trying to get to the end result. As I said, I'm a one-woman show, so my edits will always be the ones I've made. But if a client makes edits and that comes back to me, I can control that. But if you have a team member, have a play around in a document and make sure that you can see what their edits look like versus your edits, and you can clarify and be able to identify them. It's a really handy tool to make use of, and it's built into your existing Microsoft Word program. If you have any questions about anything that you've seen in this video, or you would like to know a little bit more about working with your documents in Microsoft Word, please get in touch. You'll find me hanging out on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Just search for Thrive Admin Services. There are loads of other ways that we can connect, so check the links below this video. I would love to connect with you and help you get more bang for your buck from your Microsoft 365 subscription. Cheers.